Hello there. The theme I selected for my final was not giving up, and what that means to different people. My first piece is from the novel The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This is a fantastic series of books for any fan of an urban fantasy. The novel can really only be described as a booze-addled Hogwarts mashed with a bad LSD trip in Narnia. This scene takes place at the end of the novel after traveling to another magical realm. The gang is at a crossroads, and our main character, Quentin, is kind of being a stick in the mud. Do you know the funny thing, though? She sat straight up, suddenly animated. I mean, the really hilarious thing. You actually don't. You don't even want it. Even if this whole thing came off without a hitch, you wouldn't be happy. You gave up on Brooklyn, you gave up on break bills, and I fully expect you to give up on Fillory when the time comes. It makes things very simple for you, doesn't it? Well, and of course, you are always going to give up on us. We had our problems, but we could have fixed them. But that was too easy for you. It might actually have worked. And then where would you be? You would be stuck with me forever. I will stop being a mouse, Quentin. I will take some chances. If you will, for just 1 second, look at your life and see how perfect it is. Stop looking for the next secret door that is going to lead you to your real life. Stop waiting. This is it. There's nothing else. It's here. You better decide to enjoy it, or you're going to be miserable wherever you go for the rest of your life, forever. You can't just decide to be happy, but you sure as hell can decide to be miserable. Is that what you want? Do you want to be the asshole who went to Fillory and was miserable? Because that's who you are right now. There was something true about what Alice was saying, but he couldn't grasp it. It was too complex, or too simple. Too something. He thought of that first week he spent at Break Bills when he and Elliot had gone sculling and then watched the other rowers hunching and shivering into what Quentin was a warm summer day. That was what he looked like to Alice. It was strange. He thought that doing magic was the hardest thing he would ever do, but the rest of it was so much harder. Turned out, magic was the easy part. Quentin looked around at the others. Alice was still watching him. Behind her, the mosaic was a swirl of green tentacles and white caps, floating fragments. He slid down the stone bench to her and kissed her and bit her lower lip until she gasped. After a certain point, it was no longer possible to ignore the fact that they were lost. Quentin obviously doesn't understand what not giving up and perseverance means. My next piece is the poem Don't Quit. It was written by transcendentalist writer John Greenleaf Whitebeard. He was a Quaker poet born in Massachusetts. Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure comes about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of clouds of doubt, and you never can tell just how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. My final selection is from The Count of Monte Cristo. In this scene, Morel feels his problems are dire and wants to give up on them and on life. But the Count basically just tells him to have a stiff upper lip and keep on keeping on. "You see," said the Count, "you do want to kill yourself. Here it is, in black and white." "Very well," Morel exclaimed, instantaneously switching from an appearance of calm to one of extreme violence. "Very well. Suppose that it is so. Suppose I have decided to turn the barrel of this pistol against myself. Who will stop me? Who will have the courage to stop me? Suppose I should say, all my hopes are dashed, my heart is broken, my life is extinguished. There is nothing about me except mourning and horror. The earth has turned to ashes, and every human voice is tearing me apart. Suppose I should say it is only humane to let me die, because if you do not, I shall lose my reason. I shall become mad. Tell me, monsieur, if I should say that, and when it is seen, it is voiced with the anguish and the tears of my heart, will anyone answer me, 'You are wrong'? Will anyone prevent me from being the most unhappy of creatures? Tell me, Count, would you have the courage to do so?" "Yes, Morel," said the Count of Monte Cristo, with a calmness which contrasted strangely with the young man's excitement. "Yes, I would do so."